task force is not out to headhunt any institution or any personality in sports or football in particular. That's not our man, far from it.
With less than a month in existence, this committee has identified various football personalities, including footballers and veterans, as well as institutions, for its fact-finding as to the problems and possible solution.
And category number 1 are ministries. So for obvious reasons, we have decided to choose the ministry responsible for youth and sports in this country. And in that ministry, we requested to interview or talk to the permanent secretary, the DPS, technical, and the executive secretary of the National Sports Council.
Senegal have in the past years made series of study visits in the country to learn from the Gambia's success in youth football. The new task force, Salah said, will waste no time to travel to Senegal on similar study tours to learn from Senegal's recent success stories.
And the purpose of this visit would be mainly to exchange notes, not to take what they have and apply it to our condition and situation. No, far from it. We want to go there and exchange notes with them as to the best practices to administer football in our countries.
With a team comprising of some stellar names in Gambian football, their output will be closely monitored by the very people who tax them to deliver the goods for Gambian football. For Grts Sports, I am Nebuso.
That story by Nebuso takes us to our first break. We'll be back with more stories beyond our borders.
Leadership is a contract. People vote for you because they expect you to stand for them and improve their living conditions. How can I satisfy every Gambian? Left to me alone, if I had the power to make sure that no Gambian becomes sick or goes hungry or is poor, I would have given it to every Gambian, irrespective of whether they like me or not. That's my wish for the Gambians.
To the news from beyond our borders now. There is no word on where Colonel Gaddafi might be, but a new audio message has been released on a loyalist radio station purportedly from the embattled Colonel. In it, he called on his followers to go out and free Tripoli and to fight and destroy his enemies. We have more on that in this report.
The rebels claim they are now in control of 80% of the capital, but pockets of resistance still remain, particularly in the city's south. There's been fierce fighting around the Tripoli International Airport as well. You can tell by this video here, there is a plane burning on the tarmac in Gaddafi's hometown of Sirte. Rebels there say that they're negotiating with tribal leaders for their surrender. NATO tells CNN that it's trying to determine how many active missiles and launchers are still in Libya and who controls them.
Well, things are getting back to normality, at least in some parts of Tripoli. A few shops there have reopened. In some neighborhoods, more people are coming back out on the streets. For other areas, it is a no-go zone. Let's get a sense of what life is like in certain parts of Tripoli.
Patchy between the south of the city, below the ring road, which still remains quite dicey. There are still gun battles going on between Gaddafi loyalists and the rebels, and up here in the north around the port area, which you can see behind me, is a scene of relative normality now. There's traffic flowing on the streets, not as much as you'd normally expect here. Not many pedestrians out on the streets either, interestingly. I've barely seen any women or children out and about, apart from in hospitals, but there is an incremental change each day that we've been here, I think, that things seem to be getting a bit more normal. There have been the odd kind of crack of gunfire this morning, and it's not clear if that is again people just shooting in the air in celebration or if that's exchanges of gunfire. But generally speaking, I mean, the picture behind us speaks for itself in a sense, Jim, that this northern area of the city is looking like it's beginning to get back to some semblance of normality. It's further south where there are still problems, and obviously the rebels are desperate to try and find out where Colonel Gaddafi is. They yesterday said that they thought they had him cornered in a hotel, an apartment complex. But we haven't heard anything to suggest that that was true. There was a fierce exchange of gunfire down there, they said, but we haven't heard any more from them about where they think he is now.
And a reminder of our top stories before we go. The Vice President has presided over the decoration of 4 military officers promoted to senior ranks. 40 Gambian beneficiaries of a Taiwanese scholarship package are preparing for their educational sojourn in Taipei. In an audio message reportedly released by Muammar Gaddafi, has called on Libyans to come out and free Tripoli. You can also follow the day's stories and other Grts programs live on our website at www.grts.gm. There you can also monitor Grts video live. And that's all in this edition of the news. Thanks for being there, and do have a pleasant Laylatul Qadr.
Iko moma nyanda malla jali ala ning atam manam kuntela bari signi nga jali adu ning atako ta fennem laftala o malla fa iba sikala
ha hani dunia farinda na ko be kala tele
be kala tele
jali busuni jali velu kuma ni ngaralu
yo akamunta manding anaka wala
mandinga counto alinga denjang nga denjang
fo de suñaro kede ni manjali yake
kila la ngaral wal misu
nam
e jali barako ni barakanta ya nyoso do nyaadi le
barako kasande fo ye wulula batu ye wulula fulo batu ye silenya ni ko kar wuliyata ja hanna mandi ye jeleto kar wuliyata ibe barako le sanka barako ye ñu harjo la ju farfutilo kon do mbaw harjo kumbota kay ko to barkan la kay hali aka nte danati aka me dundu lalo aka nte barko buka dun kuma be
bawo dunya biri ya nyininka ikan dunya tela dimbal be siala de bari tiyamira le wo dimbayal kono ibe balundi la nyaadi le ibe manankun na nyaadi le kad ko fodol si so mi yalon koy be so so la